Hello YouTube and welcome back to Martinsville, Virginia for race number 11 of the NRSL Coke Vanilla Cup Series season number 5, the final race before the All-Star race, and joining me once again in the booth is Stephen Paul III.
Hey guys, it's still cold.
Yep, and we are here for the triggered Kev Shearer 500. On the pole today is Matt Dixon starting alongside Charles Sanford in the 05. Mark George will start alongside the points leader, Charles Jackson, in row 2. Vince Almarego, Bill Brack Jr., row 3. Amy Shelley and William Duncan in row 4. And Zach Flickinger and Sky Commons make up row number 5. Here's the rest of the starting grid as I hand it over to Steven for his thoughts and predictions.
Well, if this is anything like the truck race, I expect Matt Dixon to lead and dominate and just win the race. That's what I kind of expect. What I also expect is probably a record lap one, and it's a clean green flag race. It's one of the longest races of the season, so it should be definitely interesting. Charles Jackson is starting third and Washer starting 40th, so the points battle will be very skewed after this race.
Yeah, it can be, as there's only two drivers who enter this race with a shot at the points lead. They are Charles Jackson and Chris Washer. Jackson leads by 21 points over Washer. Tristan Wilhoit, Sam Young, Bill Bragg Jr. make up the rest of the top 5, with James Qualls, Vince Amarego, Levi McIntyre, Zach Rogers, and Tim Randolph making up the rest of the top 10. Current wildcards are Steve Pollard and Will Lewis. Here's the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Onboards that we will carry today: Charles Jackson will be carrying the Dodge onboard, Chris Washer the CarQuest onboard, Tristan Wilhoit the Ford onboard, Sam Young the Chevy onboard, Bill Bragg Jr. the Toyota onboard, James Qualls the FedEx onboard, Vince Almarego will be carrying the Menards onboard should we need it,
We will.
and Jessica Shelton will be carrying the Motorcraft on board should we need well, actually there is a plan for that one anyway. Lap 21, just like with the truck race, will be a silent lap in honor of Glenn Wood, one of the patriarchs of the Wood brothers. And green flag is out. The Kev Shear triggered 500, or triggered Kev Shear 500 is green. Got that wrong.
I think the
How did I get that wrong?
best part about this whole weekend is Kev missed the cup race.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Actually, really good start by Mark George on the outside.
Yeah, out of fourth, gets to third and clears. Bill Brack Jr. actually clears Amy Shelley there and sets it. Whoa, four wide.
Whoa.
Hello. That's Fitzwater. That was Fitzwater.
Well, that might be worth mine right there. That was crazy.
I can't believe that worked for him. They
That
were
was a
four
ballsy
wide
move.
into turn one.
God, that was crazy.
I don't know what got into Fitzwater there, because holy moly, he gets locked in for one race and then he goes balls to the wall going into turn one of lap 2.
Can I please have this track guy now?
Yeah, I'll make sure to send it as Will Lewis to the pit lane very early there for the 07.
Well, Lewis has been dropping like a rock in the points. He was third for a few races, and now he's fallen below the top 10.
Worth mentioning, I do expect them to have to pit, but I don't expect this to actually be one of the scheduled pit stops. That looks to be just a stop and go. So not quite sure what happened there for the 07 on the original start, but unfortunately for the 07, and Zayn Abdullah also on pit lane.
How about we give a shout out to the 05 car, the guy who's missed about every race this year. Stanford doing really well in the 05.
Actually, I think he's only in a tie now for how many races he's missed out of... in fact, actually, Tom Shelley would have tied him anyway at the very least, because Shelley had his sixth DNQ of the race of the season this weekend.
I didn't know we were at the season 4 Daytona 500.
That was season 2, or yeah, that was season 4. Never mind. I was thinking of the other one. Looks like Charles Jackson now kind of settling into a groove a little bit. Maybe just relaxing because he knows he can just ride today, it looks like.
Well, Washer gained a bunch of spots, not below 34th, so I could not missing on the ticker.
Not by much. He's 33rd.
Yeah, not really improving.
But he is actually on the inside line there, trying to pass Cole Deaver Or at least still trying to make a move on Cole Deaver, I should say. Another driver who's making some moves. How about Mary Shelley up into the top 30, going for 28th now on Jack James. She can't
Yeah, it looks
qualify,
like
but she can sure as hell race in these things right now.
they need to get the better qualifying into the Robert Yates, but that's a little.
That's a little bit wide, but luckily for her, Chris Louvier was actually battling the 4, and that's going to allow Shelley to stay in line in 28th. As the freight train has begun here at Martinsville.
Well, it's getting the race green.
And Chris Washer, though, still taking advantage. He's gaining spots. He's past the 8, now trying to pass the 4.
And unlike the truck race, Matt Dixon isn't pulling away by a second. Sanford's right there on his bumper.
Yeah, not pulling away entirely. Still 0.4 of a second for the lead right now. And Jack James really needs to quit fighting on this outside line right now. It's not helping him. Nice, lovely view of the pace car.
Yeah, it's a nice view.
Back up to the leaders as the two go home cars, Matt Dixon in a part-time ride and Charles Sanford in the 05. Both
it could be worse. It could be the 46 car leading.
Yeah, that definitely could be worse. As Dixon now kind of slowly starting to pull away a little bit. Like I said, I do expect there to be pit stops here in this one, so worth keeping an eye on here as the race progresses, especially if this one goes green.
Does S3 Motorsports have the funding to go to the All-Star race?
Probably. I think they were planning to go to the shootout. We'll see. I mean, certainly if they end up getting the invite, they could probably easily make it there. As you can kind of see that Matt Dixon's starting to be able to see the tail end of the field there. And Mark George has gotten himself some room over the 9 of Jackson, who now has Vince Almarego on his back bumper.
Got a bright yellow rear bumper.
That's for sure, yeah. I think this one's definitely going to matter as they get into lap traffic on what can Dixon do there.
Lap traffic will definitely be interesting to see how Matt Dixon's car does. I'd like to point out also, I wonder how Sky Comets is feeling right now. I think we lost. No, Charles.
We haven't lost. Just distracted.
Oh, he's distracted. Well, it looks like the Red Bull team is actually not running too bad this week. The Red Bull team is, well, Sky Commons is dirt ass at Dixon part-time, so I guess the Red Bull team trying to improve this weekend.
Well, Commons still running 12th. I mean, he started in, I believe, the 10th position, if I remember correctly, so.
I mean, he's missed, like, the last, but, I mean, how many, yeah, I think he's at 5, no, he's at 3.
Yeah, he has 3 DNQs so far this season. 2 of those being the COT races, though. So,
well, Steve Pollard is not having a good race at all. Steve Pollard.
That's actually Zach Rogers in the 10.
Well, the schemes are Steve was running the 10's backup car pretty much.
Basically, Steve is actually running in 20th.
Well, that's not too bad.
Not bad, but not great either.
Steve did not receive Steve's tour to his tour of the Caterpillar factory got rejected after last week, so hoping for better things this week.
Worth mentioning, the battle for 30th in the points. Joshua Osborne currently runs in 18th. Was 3 points behind the 4 of Jack James coming in.
Well, Jack James is going to need a lot more than Lucas right now to pull ahead of him right now.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of help as right now Shelley trying to close in on the 48, who's trying to also pass Baranowskis in the 46.
Now, if Baranowski can somehow win this race, this is Charles's worst nightmare.
Basically, as the long train of Martinsville is on, this is basically like real life.
Well, this is just like Bristol, and we ran out of things to talk about. So we might run out of things to talk about tonight.
Oh, no, we'll see. I do imagine that they will catch the tail end of the field, though. I mean, the race leaders are 2/10 of a second quicker at least already still than these guys.
Now, if I was the 07 and the 1, I would have took 4 tires and tried to make it to the end of the race. They just stopped and go.
Yeah, they might have had a penalty, though. We don't know exactly what was going on with the 07 and the 1 yet, so could have easily just been penalties, and that's why they couldn't do anything.
So we done 25 laps in 14 minutes. In my estimate, this race is gonna be like
and by the way, we screwed up.
How?
We're on lap 26.
Oh, well, rest in peace, Glenwood.
Alright, so what we'll do, lap 28 will go ahead and serve as the silent lap since we forgot on lap 21. And we'll do an onboard with Shelton for that lap.
How ironic where she's running to.
Ended up being a little bit more than a lap, but oh well. But yeah, I see what you're meaning with the irony of the place. But either way. And trying to see... No, they're still closing in a little bit.
Do we have the 2018 Aero package on here?
I don't know. But right now, Dixon's starting to close in a little bit on the 88 here. They're definitely way beyond just on the same straightaway now.
Well, I remember at Bristol, Anderson was a pain in the ass to the leaders too. So we see how Anderson does this week.
Yeah, maybe they talked to him a little bit. Who knows? Then again, I don't think he had to race Dixon or Sanford at Bristol either. So
yeah, it's Dixon and Sanford in the DNQ race. No, Dixon didn't even show up.
Dixon wasn't there, and then Sanford was in the DNQ race.
Dixon was at the. Who is Dixon's one of the Sky Commons' drivers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were out. Dixon was out in Las Vegas at the Gallon machine.
Mm-hmm. So Dixon now having to catch the 88, gonna have to try and pass him as well. And this might be where Sanford might be able to take advantage of this.
Oh, Sanford won the Hooters race. I don't think Sanford. I don't know. You're not even the Truck Series.
No. Whoa.
Oh.
What happened? Oh, there's trouble. Steve Pollard in the 98.
Oh, fuck. Sakes. Oh, excuse my language.
Engine issues for the Valvoline Dodge of Evernham, and that's not going to help.
You know, that experimental motor was not working.
Clearly. So he makes it to pit lane without any issues. The clutch, the issue for Steve Pollard in ending his race.
Well, we clearly put a blue Ford engine from the Truck Series in there.
Well, we were trying to figure out why they would have gone so low. I guess that's why, because he probably blew up on the front straightaway.
Well, Steve is definitely not going to be in the top 10 points anymore.
Yeah, definitely not, as seeing he was 15th in points coming in. He's going to take another hit today, as that is his, I believe that is going to be his, yeah, that's his second DNF of the year.
And so, second straight 42nd place finish.
You know what's funny? That's actually back-to-back DNFs, because his other DNF was at Coca-Cola, so it's not going well.
Well, I guess we're going to need some new Valvoline in the 98.
And Matt Dixon now has caught the 88, but catching is one thing, passing is going to be another. What can the Red
And
Bull
remember, if
Toyota
Sanford
here
can't
do
get
with
there,
the Snickers Ford?
This is going to bunch everybody up, too, if Dixon can't get by.
Yep, passing definitely has been difficult here today. Sanford is there. Right now, Mark George is 3 seconds back of the 2 leaders. Dixon goes up the track. Here comes Sanford.
Oh, look at this. Now, passing here is like trying to pass an old lady on the highway. It's definitely not going to work out too well.
And that's when you also have trucks in the other 2 lanes.
Yeah, that's when you turn her into the other 2 trucks.
Wow. Wow. Good job, Steven. Just said that on TV.
That will be definitely make the thumbnail on the comment.
Oh, another one's blown up. Sam Young.
Man, what is going on with engines this week?
And so we've lost another one. That actually builds a gap.
Count in this race?
Well, what that's going to do, that's going to put a gap between the 25 and the 10, so that might help Matt Dixon out a little bit. Because it's going to de-bunch up these 2. Piston issue for the 14. You were going to try and say something?
Well, that was certainly interesting. I wonder if the next one's going to blow up.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things we're have to pay attention to here.
Is 26 even in this race? I don't think so.
Yes.
My money's on they're going to blow up next.
Currently running 19th, just ahead of their Roush teammate, Dylan Abrahamian, actually.
Man, you could not pass.
Mary Shelley currently in 27th still. And going back here, Dixon and Sanford still have not been able to get around the 88.
How about the great run by Dixon? I mean, he's doing a pretty good job holding off Sanford, even though he can't get by Anderson.
It's definitely an impressive job right now for Dixon.
As we've been clean and green. We've done almost 50 laps in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we're starting to get into that range where I think pit stops might become an option. I don't remember when that. I don't remember how long it was. I just remember that they did have to pit.
And I think, the lap times are falling off too because the 84 is 0.2 off his fastest lap.
Yeah. Although, now that one even farther off. And Sanford actually ran a quicker lap time right there.
You just can't pass.
And Seth Cole starting to close back in on the 10 of Zach Rogers.
Henry Williams, though, last week's winner, really running deep in the field.
Yep, and actually got his All-Star race ride settled out. We talked about that one actually or at least I talked about that one in the qualifying show. So
he'll be running for back with Robbie Gordon Racing.
Huh?
Is it Fast Track with Robbie Gordon Racing?
Well, actually, you don't know what it is because I haven't shown you.
Oh, well, okay. I guess you know what? I should just keep quiet with these sneak previews.
Well, actually, no. Okay, so it's in the recording. I mentioned the exact what it is. I just haven't shown you what it is yet. So no one else has actually seen the exact car, but me and one other person who painted it.
Well, it might be on the Discord pretty soon.
No, it's not gonna go on the Discord.
Damn it.
Nice try.
Well, it looks like Elvis is back here.
Yeah.
Elvis is still on the toilet waiting in line.
So now Seth Cole has actually caught the 10 of Zach Rogers, which is probably not good news for the 05 and the 84.
They're still holding a two lap, second lead over Mark George.
Although now, as we say that, Mark George now in the same picture with these guys in terms of the front stretch. He can see them.
Can he see clearly the rain is gone?
Maybe.
Well, Brad ran really good at Bristol, too, so Brad's got a good short track program.
Too bad he hasn't been able to figure out how to put it down the 23.
Nope, because the 23 car wrecked to Coca-Cola.
As Pollard is still running back here as well. And he came into this race 28th in the points, so worth mentioning that one as well. Although...
We're just having
Go ahead.
Just having a rough year for the Pollards.
Well, the good news for you in that regard is the 38 was 32nd, so they're not running too well either, so definitely not capitalizing any at all.
I think I've said I haven't seen any passing since like lap 3 of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy to pass, which is about the only downside I've got to the Sinai.
I've seen some more passing in a nursing home than this race.
Although, as we say that, now Jonathan Zorline trying to take a peek on Zachary Fitzwater for 14th place right now, not able to do so.
Well, that is definitely going to get marked in the comment section.
Well, the only thing I think I could do is maybe there's just too much outside line grip. I don't know. Maybe they're getting too much of a drive off.
I gotta really check the comment section to see if anybody timestamps. Yeah, that's a fail. Timestamp my stuff.
No one has yet, so I think you're good.
We're still waiting.
Although, actually, I will say this. Fitzwater every once in a while will timestamp stuff.
If Fitzwater, if you timestamp something and you watch it, put it in the Facebook group so I can see your comment.
As we are now 60 laps down in this one, who else you want to talk about now at this point? We're down Sam Young, who was 4th in points. We've talked about Jackson Washer. Let's check in on our Daytona 500 winner. How about that?
Yo, where is good old Tristan? Man,
Will Hoyt's running 22nd right now.
See, the problem with Tristan, he's been running well, but his road course program is 6 feet under in performance, and it's absolutely dog crap. So that's why he's a little lower in points.
And they brought the Nintendo Wii on board this week. Not doing them too awfully well, as actually worth... Oh, I was going to say, never mind. That's because Abdul is a lap down. I forgot about that.
I've seen more passing in Wii in this race right here.
Another thing worth pointing out, Brian Patterson, where's he running? 16th, a good rebound here, a much needed run. They came in this race 27th in the owner's points, and Patterson 27th in drivers. They've been on quite a slide the last few weeks as well.
Did we ever figure out why Gene was DQ'd?
Or DQ'd? I honestly don't know.
That's still a mystery to this day.
That mystery is never getting solved. That honestly is never getting solved.
Well, you just gonna have to go find Shaggy.
Meanwhile, these two still have not gone around, and now the gap is back under 2 seconds, back to Mark George in the 42.
Doesn't mean nothing. He can't pass.
Well, all it takes is one slip up, basically, and we might be able to see them make a pass. Who knows?
Well, that's
this one's not over yet at all.
Well, that's actually how you bring a new child into the world, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, definitely don't need to get into that. Actually, we did have a... Wait, never mind. Okay, I was thinking we did have a pass because I thought Rogers was behind Seth. Never mind. Ironically enough, this is about the
That was
best that they've
definitely
got
the
right
pass.
now.
Well, it looks like Anderson might make a pass. Anderson was in last at Bristol, too, if I remember. He was holding up Will Lewis, who eventually won the race.
Now, I'm going to be really disappointed if they actually don't pit, because in all the test races I did, they had to pit.
Well, knowing our luck, they're going to pit with like 2 laps to go, just like at Bristol.
Now, I think the pit stops happened in the 70s, is what I think it happened. Don't quote me on that.
Well, me and you weren't around in the 70s, so I would not know.
In like the lap 70s for numbers, is what I meant.
Oh, I see. Well, we got a new scheme on the 12 car. That's something to talk about.
Yep, they had Mobile 1 on the car this week for COT, as opposed to the Altel scheme.
Well, how about a shout out to who was in 8th? The guy who's missed a bunch of races, does not have jet fuel in the 55, running 8.
Zach Flickinger, the guy who actually sponsored these races as the Triggered Kev Shearer weekend, basically.
Well,
Running
Zach
8th.
is a man of honor, and he's a man of respect for sponsoring this race. And I'm hoping McClung, the 26 Rex, does something so Kev can be triggered.
You mean he's not going to be triggered by the fact that he's already only got 1 car in this race? Hello, we got almost some movement. Sanford's starting to get a little impatient maybe with the 84.
God, he's getting pretty close.
Sanford, I think, has been running quicker. These are the 2 quickest cars in this race right here. 84 and the 05.
And he can just reach out and touch him.
He can get there, but that's about all he's been able to do.
And you know, Sanford in the 05 doesn't have the best brakes. He's just trying to outbrake Dixon. It's name brand brakes versus old brakes.
Hey, maybe if they win a COT race, they can actually afford to get. They can actually get a sponsor on that car. That is basically an unsponsored car right there in the 05.
And they're outbeating a lot of the factory teams in Shadow. So
Mark George is on pit lane, the 42. And that was
That's
tires on that car. They did put tires on it.
You need tires, you idiot.
4 tires for the 42. And so now we've got our first to blink. What can Mark George do with the tires? He comes out right in front of the 77. That is huge. As Mary Shelley also pits.
Now, let's see how long. Now, can anybody make it to the end of the race? Has anybody been saving?
Jackson's in. Vince Almarego is in. Looks like Osborne was in on the previous lap. Amy Shelley is in. Mary Shelley was as well. Fitzwater, Will Lewis. So the pit stops have begun, and now it's a matter of who's going to be where.
It's all about key. It's about the pit crews now.
As
Does SP
Dick's,
Motorsports even have a pit crew?
it's just as good a pit crew as anyone else. We'll see. They've got a pit crew. I know that much. As now Fitzwater and Sanford both on pit lane here.
Who gets off first? Now remember, there's gonna be traffic, so who doesn't get affected by the traffic first?
Fitzwater comes off the pit lane. There's Mark George right there. That's to probably get either back to 1 lap down or to get back on the lead lap.
Ooh, that was a fast stop by Dixon. They only took 2 tires.
And Sanford is out, but right in front of Jackson.
Whoa! Oh,
Who has to deal with Henry Williams now?
we finally got a pass.
But is that for even position? As Dylan Young is the leader, but is on pit lane right now. Chris Washer leads the lap.
Well, that's gonna be huge. He's gonna have a crappy finish, but at least he doesn't lose too much now.
And now he's on pit lane.
He hit the commitment cone. That should be a penalty.
There's Mark George right there. There's the 83.
And it looks like Dixon's gonna have the lead.
It looks like it, yeah.
It looks like we have a new 5th place too.
Yep, Dixon cycles back around to the race lead. Sanford is still second. Jackson third, so a new third place car. Bill Brack Jr., Vince Amarego, Amy Shelley. William Duncan is in 7th. Dylan Young will cycle around 8th. Sky Commons 9th. Zachary Fitzwater top 10. Jonathan Zorline, Mark George, Zach Flickinger top 13. Delano Bohemian in 14th. James Qualls 15th. Will Hoyt 16th. Levi McIntyre is going to get 17th from Chris Washer, who is now in 18th. Jessica Shelton trying to get that spot away, though, currently runs in 19th. Jack James in 20th. Alger Baranowski 21st. Cole Deaver, Mary Shelley, Henry Sanford, William Brock, Joshua Osborne, Jeffrey McCullough's a lap down. Stephen Paul III, Preston Plord, Zach Rogers, Seth Cole, Kyle Matthews is a lap down, apparently. Christopher Pierce, and Max Anderson. We are down to 31 cars on the lead lap.
Oh my God. We're seeing passing. The world's about to end. Where's REM?
Well, they're passing because I think they're just getting sorted out again. Meanwhile, Sanford now has a little bit of trouble between him and getting to the race lead. And it's the 60 of Tim Randolph.
But I'm just going to say that was some terrible pitch strategy by the Ford team. Not only did they cost themselves the top 5, they cost themselves the
top 10, yeah.
Charles Jackson's going to be the benefit. That's 5 more points. That kind of balances out that lap led for Charles gaining that position.
Yeah, definitely. Well, or if nothing else, Washer leading lap bounces out the extra 5 points that the 9 got. So either or.
Well, I thought this race was going to be like an hour long. It's only been 35 minutes. We've done 87 laps. We've done 250 laps.
Well, part of that's the I&I, so we'll have to figure some sort of balance out. And that's obviously one of the issues.
Maybe we'll put some concrete grip on the catch fence.
No, we're not going Herbie on this.
Yeah. Do I get to drive the 82 car?
We'll talk about it. Ironically enough, in qualifying, I think I mentioned the rumor about you going to a Red Bull car.
Yes. We want to have we're never going to drink it, but we'll sponsor Red Bull.
As apparently a big gap between William Duncan and Dylan Young here, including a lap car. How about Sky Commons into the top 10, though?
Yeah, a good run for the Red Bull team. They're having a career race right now. They're usually in the D&Q race. Now they're top 10 in the big show.
Right.
Well, it's looking like a Matt Dixon leading almost every lap besides the pit cycle.
Right.
Whoa.
As Seth Cole actually trying to make a move on Kyle Matthews, even though that's not for position, and it's going to actually lose a spot to Christopher Pierce.
Man, I feel like I've seen the same person pass each other.
Gee, I wonder why.
I wonder why, too.
Although still side by side there. You know, that's the bad part. It's really cool when they're side by side because it doesn't actually necessarily mean anything, but the problem is that I think is also one of the reasons why we're not seeing passing.
You can't hold the outside.
Meanwhile, Matt Dixon, here we go. Can Randolph hang it in there?
Randolph?
Nope.
I think Tim Randolph thought better of that move. That was a really.
Meanwhile, Sanford losing ground. He's going to actually get passed by Henry Williams.
Well, you know how Henry Williams was in the All-Star race? I think that just got voided.
And now what can Charles Jackson do with this? This is going to be 5 more points just handed to the 9 team.
Actually, 05 hanging tough. No, never mind.
But now Jackson gets there, so side by side for second. Can Braddock also capitalize on this?
Well, I'm thinking the 05 is going to have some choice words with Henry Williams after this race.
Well, maybe not, because here comes Vince Almarego now. Meanwhile, Duncan and Shelley battling for sixth.
It took them 95 laps to actually run side by side.
Also differing pitch strategies.
They take, and the real question is, can Jackson catch 84?
No. Not unless a miracle happens.
Well, this is definitely going to ensure Charles Jackson might have a full race gap over Washer.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help go that way, because Washer is currently back in 18th. Meanwhile, 31 cars on the lead lap with just 3 laps to go for the Red Bull Toyota. And worth mentioning, Toyota has yet to win in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. They are 2 laps from it.
Well, in Japan, they are celebrating.
Matt Dixon has gone, I think, a decent chunk of races since his last win. I don't recall him winning last year in the Cup Series. He'll see the white flag first here at Martinsville.
Yeah, I think this is Dixon's first win, and this is going to be a spot.
Well, it's not going to be his first win of his career, but it's going to be a while. Put it this way, he was not yet in the All-Star race, meaning he didn't win from the All-Star race to last year. Welcome to Victory Lane, Toyota. Red Bull Racing win at Martinsville with Matt Dixon.
Free Red Bull in the booth.
And there's Anderson crossing the line in 31st, the final car on the lead lap. So the question that people would have had at the beginning of the season of who would grab the first win for Toyota has been answered. Matt Dixon grabs Toyota's first career Coke Vanilla Cup Series win, and it comes on the short track, and he's not even a full-time car.
You know, I loved how the last 3 CLT races, 3 part-time guys have won.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the best part.
Well, to be fair, one of them wasn't even supposed to have originally run the race.
Yeah, well, Steve Paul earned that win.
Oh, well. So Matt Dixon gets the win. Charles Jackson, Charles Sanford, Bill Brack Jr., Vince Almarego, William Duncan, Amy Shelley, Dylan Young, Sky Commons, and Zachary Fitzwater round out the top 10. Steven, your final thoughts?
Very low passing, but it was an exciting ending. The 05 and the 77 having choice words on pit road. Good win to Matt Dixon. We saw no triggering. Kevin was not triggered. And there's no holiday to celebrate because nothing is coming up. Maybe it's Valentine's Day by the time this goes up.
This is going up on Sunday, the
well,
27th?
Happy early Valentine's Day. Good win to Matt Dixon. I don't know. I think we're going to Charlotte next week. So,
next weekend is All-Star Race weekend. We'll also have the Reebok Truck Series. So yeah. Congrats to Matt Dixon on the win. I'd like to thank Steven for joining me. So, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't today for more racing and gaming related content. I'm Gordon Fenton 1, and I'll see you next time.
See you guys.